and gentlemen, and this is my weekly anime roundup. My name is Miss Anime. This week's gonna be a little bit shorter than usual because Yu-Gi-Oh! Is still on hiatus. I've dropped Pilot's Love Song, but I'll get, and also 24th Word is a recap episode this week, so this is going to be a little bit shorter than usual. So, I'm a little bit torn on this, because on one hand, I like the idea that, XB is now complete, and people can die from it, but my feeling is, why wasn't it like this to begin with? Why wasn't Ojiro just in charge to begin with? Why did we have to, go through this whole thing of, him killing his father really to serve no purpose other than, to set up something that could have already existed in the beginning. I like the idea that, the Minato tribe's gonna have to do a lot better than they've been doing because, there's no rules now, so if they fuck up, they're gonna die, which is a great concept, a sport where you have to be careful and you have to plan ahead because it could kill you otherwise. But I don't like how we got here, and I don't like how the fact that we're on episode 10 and now suddenly they're introducing a plot. It's just kind of been meandering so far. It hasn't been bad. I know a lot of people think it's been bad, but it hasn't really been bad. It's just been kind of bland so far. So I think at this point, I am starting to get a little bit annoyed about how, about how slow this show is moving. I don't mind, as I said before, I don't mind slow burn as long as you get to a point where, they've acknowledged that they like each other, but one of them can't say it yet. They've gone on date. They've gone on a date at this point, which is actually pretty cute. They don't really call it a date, but at least it's kind of a date, I hope at least that they say they like each other at least by the next episode. I'm starting to get slightly bored by this. It's cute. It's very cute, but, I can understand why some people would be bothered by how long this is taking. At least it's not going to take, I hope it's not going to take as long as Vampire Knight, because Vampire Knight took pretty much the entire series to get Yuki and what's his face, Zero. I think it's Zero. It took them the entire series to get them together, and that story was over 100 chapters, so hopefully not that long. I'm not holding my breath though. Okay, so I'll give this show some credit. At least we've introduced the villain at this point. Granted, we're almost done with the series, so I'm a little bit annoyed that it took so long, but at the very least we introduced the villain, so that's progress. I still don't know anything else about what's going on, or, why I don't get the sense of why Sanzo, I mean, he's clearly evil, so that's something, but I still don't get the sense of why Sanzo wants to kill him. I don't fucking understand that, but at least we've been introduced to the villain, Other than that, I don't care. This series, I love the original series. I love the prequel of the previous entries, but this series doesn't. It's not clicking for me. So, I like the fact that this series properly introduces the blue vampire. I like the fact that it's very clear that because of the experiments and because of what's going on and because of what happened to him in the past, that Mikhail is pretty fucked in the head. I don't understand how this leads to Vanna just killing their father. Does he mean he killed the blue vampire? I don't, because that's clearly what the series is leading to. When Mikhail had Noe bite him, he said he killed his father. That's why. But I don't know how that leads to that. I'm curious though, and as I said last week, at least this is an actual show. Unlike the previous episodes, which just kind of seem to be meandering and don't really have a concise plot, this at least has a concise plot. So, and I'm interested in it, and I'm interested to know, what's going to happen and how this is going to affect Noe's view of Vanadis, because clearly people in the show are, oh my god, this show is like traumatizing. Ew. So there's nothing really new this week. We've already established that Chateau is the kid that he saved her as a child, and then basically I'm trying my best to rack my brain for something else to say, but I've already pretty much said what I need to say about the show. I might just drop it after this because I don't really have anything else new to talk about. The only reason Ayumu is the only reason I'm watching this show, and once he dies, I'm done, because I don't care. I really don't. So most of this episode is basically just them in a love hotel. It's cute, but there's not really anything substantial. There's nothing really new. One thing I have to point out is that for all this time, this show, it keeps making the same, jokes over and over again. Like, we get it. Gojo is awkward around girls, and Maureen has never been in a relationship. We get it. Can you do something with it? Can you, other than that one episode where it's clear that he likes her and she was surprised when that's pretty much it. I don't think this show wants to. It's not bad per se. I'll say that it's not bad. It's actually very cute. But it's suffering the same problem that Rent a Girlfriend had, in that once you get past the main joke, which is that she needs him for something, and he wants to, and he has to get it's the same joke, and basically they don't know what else, they don't have anything else to do with it. I hope it goes somewhere, but I really highly doubt it. So I'm a little bit pissed with this episode because in the previous episode, or in the previous plot point, we established that once you took the test, you can't retake it. Your sword picks you, and if your sword doesn't pick you, you don't get a sword. But he got to take it again, which if you're not gonna be able to, or at the very least they established that you can take it as many times as you want, but if the swords reject you, they reject you, and you can't use them. It's not gonna change. But so then why is it that when he retakes it, they're like, oh, he now gets a sword? Well, what the fuck was the point? What was the point of you making this whole big deal about he's never going to get one? Because it would have been neat for him to, either find one another way or have him have to rely on other skills. That would have been cool. But it just feels like they're just pulling things out of their ass because they want him to have a sword. And that really annoys me. I do like the villains. And I knew that he wasn't going to die because he can literally move heaven and earth pretty much. So I was like, oh, he's not gonna he's not dead, which is nice because I like him and I like that pair. I'm curious to see what's gonna happen with the goddess, but other than that, it is generic. So it's middling basically. So most of this episode was a fight scene. It was a really good fight scene, but it was a fight scene nonetheless. I do like the idea that Milo, actually got to do something. He had to basically trick Kurokawa into thinking. It took me a minute to realize he was tricking him into thinking he was Bisco, because I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you changing your voice? And I'm like, oh, he wants to goad him into thinking that Bisco's not dead, which is really neat and really, he can use that skill. I have a feeling that Bisco really isn't dead, though, because this series is about him, so I highly doubt he's actually dead. But again, not much this week, mostly a fight scene. Really cool fight scene, but that's pretty much it. They go into space. Like, I'm not even being facetious, they literally go into space to stop some kind of satellite. I think it's been canceled or maybe it's going to lead into a sequel series, because this show's only getting 90 episodes, which is really stupid, because it solved nothing. We don't know who the fuck the ninja people are. We don't know what any of this has to do with anything. I don't understand why I should care. I mean, I'm trying to think of something to say, because at least going to space is some kind of progress. Something happened. It's stupid, but something happened, so that's better than nothing. So, I got about 10 minutes into this episode, and I realized I just don't care about this show. I tried to get through it because, I'm 2 episodes from the end, so I wanted to finish it, but I really don't care. If it were longer, then maybe, and it had more time to flesh out, then maybe, but the entire time I'm sitting there through this episode going, if Nina's this priestess, right, who is be able to, blow in, and everybody worships her, and everybody thinks she's this, ceremonial person, why doesn't she just order the soldiers to stop fighting? Why doesn't she just say, hey, I'm your priestess, stop. I'm ordering you to stop. If she has no power, then why would I care? Why would anybody care what she says if she has no power, and she's not, she's supposed to be royalty, I think. So, I'm struggling with this because, at this point, I'm just it's another one of those mid-2000s anime that's just cut off, and you don't get any, and it's not going to get a second season. It reminds me of Children of the Whales in that concept. It has an interesting plot, but it just doesn't do anything with it because it's not given enough time to breathe. It's not given enough time to make a full series out of it. And this is what you get when you make a show out of a manga or a light novel that at that point just wasn't finished. It was 2 volumes in, I think, when they made it. So that's what you get. It's not finished. The source material isn't finished, so the show can't be finished. And the show, you're not going to get a resolution. And I hate that. I hate when anime makers jump the gun and make a show before the manga is finished. But other than that, that's it for this week. And starting next season, it's going to be in podcast form, as I've already mentioned. So, you should look forward to that.